Glasses next. I'm comparing this with these two other wine glasses. This is Riedel's Sommelier. This is a Riesling wine glass Grand Cru. Stay tuned, I'll tell you about this wine glass and the point score. Thank you for joining me today. I do appreciate it. This wine glass is next. Now, please give a like and be sure to subscribe to my channel to see the latest videos on wine and wine accessories. Now, this particular wine glass was completely accidental. I was actually ordering a Riedel Sommelier Burgundy glass. Instead, I got this. And I thought, you know what? I still wanted to try it anyway and experience this wine glass. Now, this, according to the package, I'll show you the package in a moment, is that this is good for Riesling as well as Zinfandel. If you watch my wine reviews on wine glasses, you've noted that I have always suggested that there's only maybe 2 silhouettes, potentially 3 that you need in your collection. You don't need 60, 70, 80 silhouettes. Nobody has room for that necessarily, and I don't think it's necessary. And this is one wine glass where I think I'm actually on the edge on certain features of it. But ultimately, the point score is going to reflect what I think this wine glass will bring to you. Now, I definitely love Sommelier from Riedel because they're handmade, they're beautiful, they're gorgeous. So there's 1 shot Zwiesel and then 2 Riedel glasses. The shot are generally pretty small footings, which are really not attractive for me, in my opinion, especially if you see it on a table. And it just doesn't look that impressive. It looks a bit too diminutive. So there's that issue, right? So for me, I very much enjoy a handmade wine glass. To me, it's a refinement and elegance that I really seek out, that I love, adore, and very much enjoy. And so that's the Sommelier series. Now, these are made in Hungary. And so I got this because, I thought I'm going to get the Burgundy glasses because I've always wanted one. And I was going to review it. I was so excited to, get these wine glasses. So I thought, open up the package and I thought, this is not it. So instead, I decided to keep them anyway. And I thought, I would probably try these glasses out anyway, so it's not a huge loss for me. But I don't believe that you need a, absolute, so Riesling or a Zinfandel, as the box suggests. And I think that's a bit of something that is, I would say it's an antiquated notion in my opinion. I'm sure Riedel would completely vociferously disagree. That's okay. To me, I have some experiences and I'm an optimized taster when it comes to tasting from wine glasses. I have some very specific views, and when I dine out or even dining at home, I want the best wine glasses for the wines that I'm enjoying. Why would you pick an inferior wine glass? I always point to a particular experience I had here in San Francisco, a master class for a particular DOCG in Italy. And in fact, it could have been for any region in the world. And I heard one of the organizers say they spent $1 per stem. And they thought that was an amazing thing to do. And it really wasn't, because they were terrible wine glasses. From that came uniform tasting. Everything tasted like everything else. Now, this is a wine region that is known for stellar, beautiful, gorgeous wines. And each producer is going to have a very marked, different, and noticeably characterized wine that wine glass on one particular silhouette did not express. And that was really unfortunate. In fact, my notes, I could not, publish anything because I couldn't write any notes that actually pointed out differences and actually highlighted what the wines really were like. So I was very disappointed. I should have brought my own wine glass, but I didn't do that. And when I attend master classes, I tend not to. I don't want to. But sometimes I thought, oh my gosh, I've missed out on so much. But that also begs the question, who else is missing out on that, especially a master class? So maybe sommeliers as well as wine buyers and wine media are missing out on the best experience. So back to this glass. Now, here's a packaging, and the packaging is, I think their packaging I give them accolades for. I think it's a nice package because it really does encompass keeping these in terms of good condition upon receipt of shipping. And you see here Zinfandel and Riesling. How that is, how that came about, I don't know. So maybe these two varieties are the best in terms of tasting from this silhouette. I really don't know, and I actually am a bit skeptical on that. Now, I did this test wine glass here, the shot Zwiesel, and I wanted to really, compare in terms of what this was like in terms of weight and experience. And of course, any handmade glass is going to be much lighter. So this is a heavy machine-made glass. It's, a glass silhouette that I don't really care for. I did a revised point score on this, the Pure Wine Collection. And I thought, okay, Well, there's that. Design is really important. So while it's kind of, really looks nice on the tabletop, it does not perform well in terms of palate or the nose experience, scent experience. Now, when I smell these wines, this one's actually almost muted. I can't almost get any note from this particular silhouette here, and that's unfortunate. And by the way, these are the same exact pours, including in the Burgundy glass, which I'll highlight in a moment. So to me, I think this is a really big miss on this wine glass here. And so I can only get a slight petrol note, hint of a bit of a floral note, but it really becomes muted after a certain point. So it's not a long experience with that wine there. So I'll put that aside for right now. Now this wine glass, unfortunately, does something very similar. Now you don't have a big bowl here, so even if you bring this about and swirl it, it doesn't matter. It is still quite a muted experience. So some mineral notation on this in addition to, say, the former wine glass, but not too much. Now, when I compare it with this wine glass here, another Riedel stem, this is a machine-made glass, so it's going to be heavier and it's a bigger format, more material, right? But this is a much superior glass to this glass here because I can really smell the surface area is going to be larger, but the bowl does a great job in terms of really expressing the wine. And when we know about our neurological experience with wine, we know that we really want to make sure we smell the wine completely fully. So we will have that full identifier with that wine if we have a bigger format, in my opinion. I do serve my white wines in a Burgundy glass all the time, so I will be removing more white wine glasses from my table over time and really focusing on red wine glasses, Burgundy glasses, even for white wines, with the exception of sparkling wine. That'll always be a tulip glass. Well, let me give some palate notes here. On this wine here, it's an all sauce, by the way, Riesling. It is notes of white pepper, mineral note, a bit of oyster shell, and some apple and pear note. And so let's go to this wine right here in the Riedel Burgundy glass. So on this glass here, I'm smelling this in a much more broad spectrum, much more complexity to this wine. Floral note is really coming through, as well as petrol, apple and pear note. So the floral note is a bit of a gardenia characterization, but not overwhelmingly so. And next, the palate characterization. Now on this glass here, it's going to deliver less, right? Because I'm not trying to overdo it. And this glass here does it effortlessly. So this will tell you how much of the volume you'll get because it's a larger format. I thought this one was dynamically wonderful. So I'm getting autumnal fruits of quince, pear, apple, oyster shells on this experience as well. Additionally, a floral note and white pepper note on the palate. So this wine is really, in my opinion, best suited for a Burgundy glass. This one here, well, we're going to go talk about this glass one more time because this is the subject of the review. While I think it's an absolutely beautiful glass, it's elegant and light, I will not give this away. I will use it until they break, because they eventually will, especially the sommelier, unfortunately. But I do appreciate a handmade wine glass. There's nothing like it. These are made in Hungary. While it is a beautiful silhouette, I really from a distance can't tell that this is handmade until I pick it out. And that is the light characteristic. I think it's a beautiful stem into itself. I think it's nicely designed. However, because the silhouette, this is very small, there's not a lot of a bowl to really swirl the wine and envelop any oxygen, and so it doesn't deliver on nose or palate. So I think, to me, this wine is unfortunately not really seeing its best experience on the palate as it would be in the Burgundy glass. Now, this is a wine glass where I think it is a nice glass. It is not one that you need to own, in my opinion. I would say even for this silhouette here, right? I think there is some characterization that is there, but it's not really that exciting. And yes, it's nice to look out on a table to see white and red wine glasses. However, that is not needed. And I think the best experience is to be tasting from a Burgundy glass, in my opinion, or a white wine glass. A larger white wine glass would do as well. While this is $99 for two, the light quality to it is just really compelling, convincing. But on a Weeba basis, would I buy it again? No, absolutely not. I would not do that again. And I definitely want to seek out and get the original glass I wanted, which is a Burgundy Sommelier from Riedel, because that would be fun to try. So on this, I give 92 points. I could not give higher. I could not give lower. Lower simply because I think the quality is outstanding, and this is truly a sommelier series that is light to the touch and elegant and beautiful. But in terms of its capabilities of delivering the optimized experience, both on palate and nose, is missing the mark in my opinion. For me, my palate and experience with wine glasses are that they definitely carry some weight in terms of how they express a wine. And I know too many people who enjoy their wines on a very inexpensive wine glass, and they're drinking very expensive wines, which is really unfortunate for them because they're not experiencing the optimized quality, optimized experience of that wine. I do not have a lot of space for storing a lot of wine glasses, so therefore I'm going to be very restrictive and careful on what I add to my collection. So again, 92 points out of 100 points. More reviews to come, so thank you for joining me. I do appreciate it. I will see you in the next video review, and we'll talk about other subject matters, including wine accessories, wine glasses, but also wine. Thank you for watching. You'll find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and WordPress. Stay tuned for more, and I will see you very soon. Santé.